Very good. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha. Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha. Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Namaha. Srimati Shri Hayavada Parabrahmane Namaha. Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Now we will be starting the class 6 today. Let me show my screen. Hope it works. Please let me know if it doesn't work. If it works, and if you're quiet, I will think that, yes, it's working. Okay. So let me share my screen. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we are seeing.
Okay, great. Okay, very good. So you see Bhagavad Gita lecture 6, right?
Not really. We are seeing your screen, multiple images of your screen.
Okay, that's what I wanted to check. Okay, hold on a second. This is where the problem is. Let me stop here and let me. Okay, let me do entire screen. Then I do this one. Can you see it now?
Yeah, we can see now.
Okay, now I got it. There's some problem. And let me use the slideshow method and see the slideshow mode works. Does it work now?
We are seeing the first screen.
That is Bhagavad Gita lecture 6, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha. You can see the next slide, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I had sent out the self-assessment questions. Thanks to Hema Iyengar, she asked for these questions. And it really gave me an idea, a chance to think about what kind of questions should I ask. Suddenly got very evil, like the exam question paper setters. They wanted to give tough questions. So, so hopefully you can answer these questions. But believe me, if you can really answer all these questions, definitely you have understood second chapter to a very good extent. And people who have not registered for the classes, please register for the Bhagavad Gita lecture groups. You can even go on Ramanuja.org/Gita class or something. That's where you can get, you can register for everything, and you can be also on the Telegram. If you haven't done that, please do it. Now, okay, I'm going to summarize what the lecture 5 was. It's important to summarize because we have to understand where the thread of the thought was. Someone pointed out to me that being a Sthita Prajna is very difficult. Why am I even listening to Bhagavad Gita when Lord Krishna starts about spirit and matter, and I just cannot understand the difficulty of the subject, and I don't agree with the subject, that I have to give up my attachments to my family, parents, everything like that, and just focus my mind on something called Sthita Prajna. It's just too out of the way for me. Doesn't make sense. And I wanted to understand and give some kind of a practical advice on this as to what makes sense. To whom does it make sense? Does it make sense to a regular grihastha, a family person with lots of responsibilities, children, taking them to school, college, or taking them to sports, which are all very natural, which are very important for a family? Should that person be thinking about the Sthita Prajna? See, there is a definitely you have to make your choices. You have to understand that you have to make some time away from family if you have. If you don't have time, family is definitely first. You have to make sure everything is all right in the family. So this is for a person who has time, who wants to make time, and he wants to think something beyond this bondage, beyond this regular life, which is filled with sensual objects and sensual experiences. And if he has the yearning to see beyond and understand why we are here, where will we end up after we are gone from this earth. All these kind of questions, if these questions bother you, then I think you have no choice. While you are in this family, while you are working in this family, while you are earning for your family, while you are doing so many things, you might have to do some little time. You have to give your priority, you have to reorder your priorities and somehow give up some priorities to focus on spirit. If you don't have time at all, then Avadhuta sermon has enough information as to what will happen to such person. If you have to make some time, at least little time. As here I want to mention right at the outside, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa gives a very good advice to one of his students who asked for the question, how can I focus on God? Because I'm always working, I'm there are so many pressures in my life. How will I focus on God? It seems that this person was working in a mill, and he used to grind some flour or something in a mill. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said, if from one hand you start grinding the mill, on the other hand you hold something as a dhupa or deepa to God, or try to focus your mind on God while doing all this work. So after a long time, you will be able to focus on God. That's how Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said to this. That means while we are here, we have to allocate some time for spiritual endeavors, or else we will be completely swallowed by the material experiences we have. So time is limited for everybody, right? We have one life to live right now, as we see. And if we don't allocate time at all, time is gone. And life is gone too. So we have to think about this very seriously. Coming back to this question, a simple answer, I could have just said, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tannirodha. How can I control my mind? Oh, just by practice and by desirelessness. That's all. Two things. You can control your mind and you can become a Sthita Prajna. These two words are actually from the Yoga Sutras. Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tannirodha is from the Yoga Sutras. It's difficult to understand. These two words are difficult to understand. And Avadhuta sermon really points out the practical aspects. And I am more, I should say, indebted to the person who asked this question, because this opened my mind. And all these things are very practical information given in the Avadhuta sermon. And there's something more than what this question meant, I think, to me. It really meant as almost a hit on Hinduism itself, on Vedanta itself, on the systems of philosophy we practice. You know why? Some Buddhists point out and they make a joke about us, about Hindus. What they do is, oh, you guys always are aiming at something which you're going to get much later. Let's put it this way. Let me do one thing. I want to give you 100 homes. Each of them are $5 million each. You can go to any of the 100 top cities and pick up where you want to live. You can enjoy what you want. Each house will have a swimming pool, a tennis court, and so many 5 bedrooms and all those things. When will you give this to me? When will you give this to me? This person asked the other guy. Oh, I'm just waiting for you to die. After you die, you're going to get all these things. This is a joke, right? What he's trying to say is, you guys are working for something only after you die, you will get it to heaven or to a moksha or to something, some wonderful land out there. You don't have even the taste of that land here. You try to get something out there. Why are you doing that? Why don't you find a way to find some peace right here first, and then figure out what you are going to get after your death? Don't you think that makes sense? What does Bhagavad Gita talk about this issue? What does it say regarding this? Does Bhagavad Gita say that, oh, you die and only you get something out there? No. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam. Pratyakshaavagamam, this is experienced right here. You can experience it. It's not against dharma. It's easy to do. This is what he says regarding Bhakti Yoga in Bhagavad Gita. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat, second chapter. Even if you do a little bit of it, great problems are avoided by you. These are some serious questions, serious issues. Lord Krishna says, Ihaivatayirjita sargaha esham samye sitam manaha. Ihaivatayirjitaha. Right here, this problem of samsara is won over by this person, esham samye stitam manaha, whose mind is established in equanimity. So Bhagavad Gita refers to things here. Teshamaham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya vaishita chetasam. Lord Krishna says, I will release these people from this bondage of mortality, of the cycle of births and deaths. Quickly, bhavami nachirat. That means not late, early, quick enough, quick. Maya veshita chetasam, those who have placed myself in their minds, those whose minds are filled with me. That's what Lord Krishna says. So here there is a reference in the Bhagavad Gita for something to be achieved in this life. And so we shouldn't be afraid of a Buddhist question. We should think of this very seriously and understand Bhagavad Gita. That is why I'm giving practical views rather than jumping into, oh, what about Natvevaham Jatunasam? What does Shankaracharya says about it? What does Madhvacharya say about it? What does Ramanuja.org say about it? We're going to get into all these things. Those are hair-splitting Vedantic discussions where we don't understand the fundamentals of Bhagavad Gita. If we go there, our whole life will be spent in understanding the 1000th branch of problems in Vedanta theoretically. Then these statements will apply to us. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha, na medhaya, na bhuvana shrutena. This Atman, the Parabrahman, the God is not achieved by giving lectures or listening to lectures. Not by studying all the Vedas. So let us not forget this. And this, I'm saying this because I spent enough time looking at Bhagavad Gita. The summary of the previous lecture is this. We just want to get to the context very quickly. Avadhuta talks about several of these gurus. From earth, he says he learned tolerance to problems from environment and others. From breath, prana, he learned how to live with little rather than expecting too many material pleasures to live or material surroundings, equipment and all those things to live. From air, he understood how to disassociate from the merits and demerits of association with the environment. From the sky, he learned the truth of separation of Atman from body, even Atman from body. Even though Atman exists in the body, there's a big separation. That's what he learned from sky. From water, he learned how to be a Satpurusha, a good person. From fire, he learned about not hoarding up for things for life, purifying everything around, and being distinct from the surroundings like the nature of Brahman. From moon, he understood the imperishable nature of soul. which does the phases of the moon does not affect the moon at all. From sun, he understood the principle behind acquisition of wealth and charity. What is the real purpose of acquisition of wealth and charity, and how to do charity? From the pigeon, he understood that after getting a human birth, in which one can strive to get moksha, understand spirit, if one gets totally engrossed in family life, that person will fall from a great height. That's what he learned. Now we continue with Avadhuta sermon about what did he learn from the next guru, which is Python. Python, it moves slowly. It eats whatever is available with minimum effort. Does not really work very hard for food. At times, a python can starve for months, really months, while it is still growing. A python eats whatever comes in its way and satisfies, whether it is sufficient or not, bitter or sweet, does not care. When no food is available, it faces the situation as if it is prarabdha karma or fate, and does not just wait. What is the lesson from this animal? Our expectations generally are very high. We have to be as rich as Ambani's or Bezos or Bill Gates or somebody, nothing less. We shouldn't go for anything second. We have other expectations. Our children and ourselves should go to the best of the universities in the world, nothing less. And we have to become billionaires in just about 5 years of earning and retire after 5 years. I'm just giving some ideas. Everybody would have some other kind of idea. And probably these are the ideas I had. That's what I'm telling you. So if we don't be like a python, what happens? Our expectations will overpower us. Our expectations will force us to do something, hunt for food, hunt for entertainment, go and get things done fast, compete with people. And all our time is spent on acquisitions, planning, implementing the plans. These are all the important things which you learn in life. That's what you learn to be competitive in the world. Without competition, you cannot exist in this world. That's true too. But there is definitely a clear separation of what is sufficient and what is too much. If we can understand that, you never know how the life will go after 20 years, 30 years, you'll have to hold everything for a long time to come. Yes. Or what will I do for retirement? Where is the money for retirement? See, these are some very practical questions. You, as a person, slowly should understand what is enough and what is too much. And I'm sure you will look around people who have lived quite comfortably with lesser money or lesser wealth or acquisitions. And if you can find that fine balance, you will figure out. The aim of Avadhuta sermon is aimed at a very highly spiritual person like an Avadhuta. So it may not apply to everybody today. We might have to take this lesson and go a long way. And people who realize that life is short, people who realize that, oh my God, death doesn't have an appointment. You can expect anybody to give you an appointment. Death doesn't give an appointment, does not give any warnings at all, right? It might not. It may give a warning, so we don't know that. So if we don't live like a python, there will be no time for spiritual progress at all. All this life is wasted. So we have to make time for sadhana or some kind of an effort towards spiritual progress. Next, Avadhuta continues and says, look at the sea. It is tranquil, calm. A saintly person full of knowledge should be like that. And he is like that. He is never disturbed. Rivers flow down into the seas. Even though the rivers join the seas do not overflow. The rivers sometimes become dry in drought season of drought. But the seas don't shrink. The seas remain as they were, apparently undisturbed. A saint should not feel worried about loss of money or when things go wrong, famine or drought, famine or how much of things he can get. He should not get elated when he acquires a lot of wealth or money or any good things happen to him. This is an important thing to understand, that all this elation and poverty they're all mental phases. Like how a child or somebody who may not even understand these phases, even though parents are going through all these phases, child may not understand, but it's a state of mind. If you can be like a child, probably you're okay. You can face life better. So you have to learn to be tranquil. A moth, right? Another thing is infatuation. You have to win over infatuation because you can check and see what infatuation has done to you in the past. Infatuation means it will burn and destroy you. That's all. So here, what do you call, as a classic example, they give a man gets captivated by charms of a lady. It could happen vice versa too. Just like how a moth is captivated by a flame and gets burnt. As Krishna Premi Maharaj mentions, even when one of the wings are burnt by the light, the foolish insect, moth, goes against to go touch the hot light and gets burnt again. So this is how people keep on getting burnt by desires, which do not give them anything, but they are attracted by that anyway. Usually they get attracted by clothes, ornaments, all these external things, and they're consumed by passion. And what this Avadhuta says is, I have to avoid passion and infatuation all the time. This is, I constantly avoid, and that's why I'm free of any kind of worries. I'm not perturbed. I don't expect anything. This is a very hard thing to do for anybody. And this is how, so Sthita Prajna, being Sthita Prajna is not a simple thing at all, but one has to practice, otherwise there is no other go. Is there a choice? There's no choice. The next guru is Honeybee. A renounced person should beg little food from different houses so that he does not overuse anybody, does not become a burden on anybody, any particular family. So he distributes his burden to different people. Like how a honeybee picks up nectar from some separate flowers, small and big, and then slowly stores the food. That's how an intelligent person should be. Similarly, an intelligent person should understand from small and big scriptures, from younger and older people, from different things around him, different kind of scriptures, different kind of ideologies. He should not be totally focused on only one scripture or one system of thought. He should understand things from different systems of thought. That's when he becomes more balanced. He understands the real value of what he's understanding. He gets a better conception, better understanding of everything he thinks about or he studies. So greed should be avoided. He should not even have a begin bowl. That's what they say. So this is obviously not told to a grihastha, a family person who has to have a roof above his head and has to protect his family. He has promised to protect. So this does not directly apply to a grihastha, but grihastha has to start the process someday before some things are taken away from him, like youth, intelligence, the capability of body functioning properly, and things like that. Stored food attracts people Like how honeybee attracts people when the honeybee has a huge, hive. People come and set fire to it and take all the honey and pretty much kill the bees. So stored food also means stored wealth means that it attracts the notice of other people, and other people try to steal that away from you, or even may kill you for getting that money. So too much of money and too much of positions will probably become mrityu or death. So we have to remember that. The other thing, the other guru of Avadhuta is an elephant. A bull elephant or a male elephant is captured by showing the male elephant a wooden she elephant, and when the male elephant comes near, the male elephant falls because that's the ground is made of thin sheets of wood or some, and with leaves on top of it, and the elephant doesn't understand that there is no ground below, and it falls to the ground and it falls into the pit, and they catch the male elephant. So even any desire, this goes vice versa, right? A lady has to do the same thing with a man, or a man has to do the same thing with a lady. Even a sculpture of each other, a picture of each other, could cause attraction and infatuation, and that causes eventual problems. I learned avoidance of people. That's what the Avadhuta says. I learned to avoid people from the elephant, from the episode of the elephant, which gets caught. The next is the honey thief. That means he takes away honey from the honey hives, that is the beehives. Sannyasis and brahmacharis are entitled to take wealth from other laboring householders. They can beg, they can borrow from other householders. Actually, they can beg. Honey thief takes away honey from the nest, and it's similar to that. We see that means good householders. This is also true that good householders should provide for brahmacharis and sannyasis. It is their dharma, and so greed will not help. That's what it's. The message is similar actually. The next guru is a deer. It seems deer are attracted by sound of the hunter's horn. And then they go towards the sound, and a hunter catches them with a net, traps them with a net. So similarly, a sannyasi should not listen to tempting music. The sweet swinging and dancing of beautiful women can attract and take him away from his path. Like how the sage Rishyashringa was attracted by female dancers and singers. So don't be caught like that. This basically applies to everybody, even householders. This can cause him to break his family and go away behind the dancers and singers. So it can happen to anybody. The fish is the next guru of Avadhuta. They say the fish has only a sense of taste for food. Constantly looks for smells the food in the from far, and goes and tries to bite. Just like how the bait is put to catch a fish and the fish dies. A learned man should control his senses. Among all the senses, the tongue, the taste, is the most powerful sense. If you can win over your taste or tongue, you can win over anything, they say. You can starve for days, controlling all your senses. But the more you starve, the craving for tasty food becomes more and more powerful, and that craving will test you. So winning over tongue is very, very important. That is why in our system of thought, they have they have prescribed vrata, or eating little or eating nothing on Ekadashi days, and some special days every fortnight, often maybe. So all these things are slow practices by which you can slowly gain mind control. So, uh, so eventually, grihasthashrama, when done well, the family life, when you live a good life in the family life, during the family life, you become better and better, and later, during the later age, you will have much more mind control to focus on spiritual uh, aspects, and finally achieve and experience God right here, experience self right here, realize self right here. So the next guru, Avadhuta says, is a Pingala, which Pingala is the name of a prostitute. She used to live in the city of Videha, and her daily routine was to wait for a very rich suitor every night. She never wanted to go for. She thought that she was the most beautiful lady in that whole town of Videha, and she was only waiting for the richest man to come and give her all the money, and so that she could trade her body in return. Since she was waiting and waiting for one day for somebody to pay enough, and every time a person comes, he says, "Oh, this person is not rich enough for me. I'm going to wait for somebody who is richer." She kept on waiting until late night. Nobody with enough money came to her. Suddenly, she was thinking and waiting, and while she was waiting, her mind started drifting, and she started to think about, what am I doing here? I'm going after sense pleasure and wealth. Look at my plight. How lowly I have become. I'm offering my body to these evil people, third-rate people. Yeah, I don't even care who they are. Why am I giving up the near and dear one who is Lord Sri Hari, who is sitting right in my heart, right here? And he is the Lord of the entire universe, but he is kind enough to sit in my heart. And now I'm ignoring that person and serving these disgusting people. This body has 9 orifices, which are always leaking. And this body is held together by bones and flesh, and it stinks of feces and excretions. I'm so attached to bodies. Why am I doing this? I'm sure I'm the only fool in this entire city of Videha. Nobody else would be as foolish as me to be infatuated by this body. No one. Let me leave all these things to help with this whole trade I have, flesh trade I'm doing for so long. I'm not going to do it anymore. Let me offer myself completely to Lord Sri Hari and seek him who is a friend of everyone, whatever situation that person may be in, and enjoy his eternal company as Sri Mahalakshmi herself is enjoying. That's what I want to do. Having thought about it that way, she gave up everything and offered herself to Lord Krishna. It seems she attained Lord Krishna. What it shows is even a prostitute can probably realize God. What about a family person? What about educated people? What about the rest? They can definitely attain God. They have to focus and think about what life is. Then Avadhuta continues and talks about osprey. Osprey is like a hawk. Hawk is a bird which is smaller than an eagle, and it's something similar to an eagle in many ways. They are territorial birds. They pounce upon small, small animals, and then pick this flesh and then fly far away and eat them. Once, a small sparrow spotted a small piece of flesh and started to carry the meat in its mouth and go to its nest. Suddenly, a powerful osprey, a hawk, spotted, and lots of crows and eagles, all of them started following the. See here, there's a small mistake here in my slide. We can forget the sparrow. We can just say that it is an osprey. And ospreys are always chased by eagles. So let's say that osprey had the meat in its meat in its beak and flying, and that's why it attracted so many of the competitors who wanted to snatch the meat away from its mouth. A intelligent osprey, what it did was, it said, okay, because I have the meat in my mouth, everybody's chasing me and I'm in deep trouble right now and they're going to kill me probably. Let me drop this meat. And that osprey dropped the meat, and soon all these, all these eagles and crows and all their followers went after the meat and left the osprey alive. And the osprey went away and happily sat in peace in the nest. So similar to this, if you go after too much money and wealth and acquisitions, competition increases. People want to kill you. People want to compete with you. People want to do many things. So your peace is destroyed because of that. To be peaceful, don't go after too much. This is the lesson from the osprey. As you know, the Puranas they could have given one or two examples, and then they could have said, okay, fine, what's the big deal? All you're saying is attain vairagya, that is desirelessness. That's it, right? Why are you giving 24 episodes to prove this? Believe me, I have been and listened to so many Puranas before. After listening to the Puranas, I used to come back home and think that, oh my God, the person who is telling the Purana, he should have failed in his life to achieve enough matter or enough wealth. He probably is not brilliant enough. That's why he has become a Purana speaker. He talks about Puranas and all this thing because he failed in engineering or medical exam or something like that. He couldn't get a good job. He couldn't make enough money. He's talking all kind of things like this. He's a loser. People think like this and have thought about like this also before. And again, go after matter constantly because we are programmed to do that. And the Purana rishis know that human beings have got navittena tarpaniyo manushyaha. No one can satisfy a person with enough money. Nothing is enough for a person. They know that. That is why they tell you in different ways. If you forget the episode of the osprey or hawk, remember the episode of a snake or a python. So that's how they give simple examples to tell you what to remember. Because when it comes to real life, people forget everything. Now we go to the example of a child. That is, the teacher is a child. From a child, I learned to live carelessly, roaming around without any worries. That's what Avadhuta said. And he says a beautiful shloka here. Dvaveva chintaya mukto paramananda apluto yo vimugdho jado balo yo gunebhyah param gataha. Thing is, there are only two people without any worry. One is a young child who is very innocent and not so brilliant, happily enjoying and playing. The other one is a Paramananda Apluto. That means he is an extremely knowledgeable person, completely obsessed with Lord. He's a jnani, completely focused on the Lord, and he ignores other things. Even if gold is given to him, he ignores them, like how Sri Vedanta Deshika threw away gold from the rice he had got by begging. they had put some gold coins in them because they pitied Sri Vedanta Deshika and say, how poor this person is. Why can't I give my diamonds or necklaces or some gold to him? They gave him some gold. He just basically, oh my God, there are some stones in my rice today. I'm going to remove all these things and throw them away. He threw all the gold and silver and whatever they put there and just took the rice and started cooking the rice and having the food. So people like that exist. Being a householder, one can be like that. That because that person is totally engrossed in finding God and experiencing and enjoying God right here. This is Bhagavad Purana 11.9.4 that is in the Avadhuta sermon. All the rest of the people are filled with worries. Only two of them, that is a young one, a very young person, and an experienced man who has transcended beyond all these things, and he has realized the soul. He does not have any worries. The next guru is Kumari, or a maiden, a young girl, about to be married. In India, what they do is, the people from the husband, the going to be husband family, the groom family come with the groom, and then they just see the bride, and they get married eventually if they like. So the thing is, this girl was alone at the home. She was trying to do some, small cakes or something with food, some kind of halwa or something like that to the so that she can entertain those people. But she was poor, and she didn't want to let her poverty be known to others, and she had to pound the rice to do some preparations. While she was pounding the rice, her bangles used to make lots of sounds. And if they hear the sounds, they will know that, oh, only this. There's nobody in this home except this girl, and she does all her work, and she's probably very, very poor, right? So she didn't want to give that impression. So she knew what she had to do. She slowly started breaking the bangles one by one, and she had only two of them. Even the two bangles produced sound as she started pounding the rice. Then she said, "Okay, I have to take the other one also." She took the other one also, and now she had only one bangle each in her hands, and it did not make any sound. From this, I understood that is Avadhuta says, if I am with so many people, somehow there will be a quarrel. Somehow I will get into some fight or something like that. So I have to avoid groups of people, large number of people. But what if there's only one person with me, just one person? Even that will end up being a lot of fun, talking, conversations, arguments, and it's not going to give me peace. I have to be alone to be peaceful and focus on God. This kind of realization is very difficult to get. People will get bored. They would rather go to a party, right? So this comes with complete maturity and one-minded purpose of attaining the Lord here, attaining spiritual realization here. This kind of realization comes very rarely to people. Hats off to them if they can do it right here. Vase bahunam kalaho bhavet vartad dvayorapi. That's what the shloka says. When many people are there, kalaha, fight will come up. Vartad dvayorapi. People will be just chatting with each other if only two people are there. Eka eva charet tasmat kumaryo iva kankanaha. This is the Bhagavata shloka. I read the shloka only because this gives some kind of enjoyment. Sanskrit has its magic touch. That's why I want to just read some of the verses out. So for contemplation and meditation, one has to be alone. A person cannot be in a crowded place and meditate. It's hard. The next guru of Avadhuta is the arrow shooter. They call it as arrow shooter. Peshakrit. They say Peshakrit means also a maker of the arrows. That means he manufactures. He actually does not manufacture. He does the arrows by sharpening the arrows properly, making it very straight, making sure it does not have any kinks or bends. That kind of a person. Mana ekatva samyujyat jitashwasaha jitasanaha vairagya abhyasa yogena dhriyamanam atandritaha. I'm reading this verse because the Bhagavata author has completely focused on the second chapter, mat yukta asita mat paraha, because these words really gel very well with the second chapter. And that's how I'm amazed how God gave me the idea that the essence of the second chapter is hidden in the Avadhuta sermon. I didn't know this at all, actually. What it says is, Manaye ekatra samyujyat. Mind should be focused on one thing. Jitashwasaha. One have to win over the breathing. Breathing means pranapano samo kritva. Lord Krishna says in the later chapter, pranapano samo kritva nasabhyantira charinau. Pranapano samo kritva. You have to balance the prana and apana, the intake and the outtake of breath. And there's something beyond prana. There's some other, the yogic concepts are harder to understand. Only practicing people will know that what prana is. That has to be done. Jita asanaha, your posture of the body should be done well. Here it is very similar to yoga abhyasa. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, samadhi. Pranayama, pratyahara, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. These are the 8 angas of yoga explained in the Yoga Sutras. This is very much included here itself. They're very similar and parallel. There are small differences that we will deal with the differences between Yoga Sutras and Bhagavad Gita later, but they're very similar in nature too. Having perfected the yoga and the postures and conquering the breathing process, one's mind should be made steady by detachment and practice of yoga. This has to be one day. If you do yoga, it does not give you value. Regular practice has to be there. Yasmin mano labda padam yadetat shanai munchati karma renon satvena vruddhena rajastamascha vidhuya nirvanam upaiti anindhanam. I wanted to say this from the Bhagavata because the term nirvana comes here. Like how in the second chapter, labhante brahma nirvanam, there is a brahma nirvanam stitva syam antakalepi brahma nirvanam richati is said in the Bhagavad Gita. Similarly here, nirvanam is said. There may be some differences in the way acharyas take that nirvanam and this nirvanam here, that we will deal with it later. But the context seems to be very, very, very uniquely connected. The meaning of this is, once the mind is fixed on God, then the bondage of karma loses its grip. Why? Because chitta sthito yoginam hridaye chitta sthito Vishnu dahati yenam. Lord Vishnu in the mind, once he is focused, Lord Vishnu burns all the the sins, bondage, all the things which are causing the problems in the mind. Everything gets burnt. So the karma loses its grip on this person, and the sattva guna becomes dominant. And dominant sattva guna overpowers the rajas and tamas. Rajas is passion, tamas is stupor or laziness. All these things are overpowered by sattva guna. Rajas is passion because it attracts and it tries to make this person infatuated with something. All these infatuations will go away by the increase of sattva guna. The fire of rajas and tamas calms down. There is no passion. The fire of passion goes away. It's put off. Once a person wins over rajas and tamas, he attains nirvana. Like how fire stops burning when there is no fuel. If once a person's mind is focused on Lord Vishnu, his bad karmas and rajas and tamas will all get burnt away. This is what this Bhagavata shloka says. Here, the focus could be, yogis take the focus as any person, right? In this Bhagavata, it is talking about Lord Sri Hari. That's the focus of Srimad Bhagavata, Lord Krishna, right? Some people have their different. There are different systems of thought. Some people say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. That means Guru is everything for me. Guru is Brahma, Guru is Shiva, Guru is Maheshwara, Guru is Brahma, Guru is Vishnu for me. So I will only meditate on my Guru. Some people meditate on their Guru. Some people meditate on, for example, we have this wonderful example of Madhurakavi Alvar, who only meditated on his Guru, that is Nammalvar. And he said, and other than my Guru, I don't know anybody else. Even God, I don't know. That's what Madhurakavi Alvar said. And many people even name themselves as Madhurakavi Dasan. They say that Madhurakavi is my Lord and he is my Guru and everything. Because they want to, I am the slave of the slaves of Lord. That's what people say, and that's what people believe. So it depends on whom they want to meditate on. Or a guru will lead to the God, right? So there is nothing, our guru himself is a God. Like how the Vilanjodi, the person who was a Panchama, who was not even a Brahmin, who taught information to you in Tiruvalmozhi Pillai, he used to meditate on his guru, Swami Pillai Lokacharya. And it seems the spider webs used to be around him because he used to be in Samadhi meditating for hours. So meditation has its value, and meditation is done in different ways. Finally, everything is the real guru is the inner guru who is everywhere. That is Lord Brahman. Tadaivam atmanya viruddha chitto naved kinchit bahirantaram va yatheshukaro nrupatim vrajantam yishaugatatma nadadarsha parshve. Look at the lilting prosody, lilting chandas of this Bhagavata shloka. It's amazing. Tadevam, a devotee should be absorbed in the Lord, that he does not see anything else. Aviruddha chitto, naveda kichit bahir antaramva. He does not see anything inside or anything outside. This bahir antaramva is very, very amazing thing. Only a true meditator will know. Once that person is so absorbed in the focus of Lord, he does not see inside or outside. He goes beyond. Similar to a person who is making an arrow. Arrow means he is straightening an arrow. While he is straightening an arrow, even though there was a huge procession, dancing and music and drums were roaring right next to him, and even a king passed by, an emperor passed by in front of him, this arrow maker did not see anything. He was just sharpening the arrows. Some people think that this example could very much said as a sharpshooter. A sharpshooter should have focus on the target, exactly the target, and nothing else. Even if there is a big procession or anything like that, a sharpshooter should not be disturbed by any sound or anything like that. Only he should be seeing and focusing on the target exactly. And this one is explained even in the exam given by Drona to his students in the archery class. It seems that Arjuna had so much focus when he said that, what do you see? The other competing people who was with Arjuna said, oh, I see the tree, I see the birds, I see something else. Nothing. Arjuna said, I only see the eye of the bird I am supposed to hit with my arrow. So it's even an analogy in the Mahabharata focuses with this kind. So the Pesha Kriti we can be taken as in different way. A bowman, can be taken in different ways. He could be an archer or an arrow maker. That person should be alert, secluded, act in such a way that he is not recognized or noticed by anybody else, and he should move without companions, should not speak more than required. Just to the point. This is how a person should be. This particular example is very important because even in the Vedas, it says, Pranavo dhanuhu sharohyatma brahma tan lakshate. That means Sharoh, Pranavo Dhanuho, this body, the Pranava is the Dhanu, Pranava is the Omkara, which is Dhanus or the bow. Sharoh Yatma, the arrow is the Atma, that is self. Brahma tan lakshamuchyate. Brahma is the target. Then he says, Sharavat tanmayo bhavet. When how the arrow sticks to the target and becomes one with the target in the sense that it just gets into the target. A focus of the mind should be on Brahman and should not go anywhere else. Apramattena yodhavyam. You should not make any mistakes. You should not be infatuated by anything else. Your focus should be clear. Your implementation plan should be clean. This is what the Vedas say. The next guru of Avadhuta is a snake. Griharambohi dukkhaya vipulahascha adhruvatmanaha sarpa parakritam veshma pravishya sukhamedhate. Our body itself is frail and fragile, and we may have diseases or problems, or we may not last too long, but we want to build a wonderful, permanent, beautiful home. Griharambohi dukkhaya. Building a home, maintaining a home, and all those things is dukkhaya. It's very difficult. A yogi should be like a snake. Parakritam veshma. Somebody builds the home, like all the ants and other things build this ant hill and all. So the serpent casually goes and happily lives there. Pravishya sukhamedhate. Like that, a sage should take advantage of other people who have built homes and not build his own home. Should not exert too much. And from the next guru is a spider. The Avadhuta says God is like a spider because he creates this huge universe of millions and millions of galaxies, black holes and everything, and a small speck called Earth also in it, which we think too much of it, and which our home is the biggest thing we want, right? We are very, very short-sighted people. But this whole universe is created, this Brahman, from his own potency. And he withdraws his huge cosmos within himself. Obviously, when you look at this gigantic universe, Brahman, you can have pictures of Brahman in small ways and with little arms, with a little child. You can have any picture like that. But in reality, who is that? In reality, realize that he can hold the entire universe within himself. So having a picture, an image, and Archamurti is only for the ease for us, because our indriyas and our capability, we are not capable of understanding and mentally communicating with anything of that order. That person can withdraw this entire universe to himself. Paravaranam parama aste kaivalya samgitaha kevala anubhava ananda sandoho nirupadhikaha. Look at Bhagavata, Paravaranam parama aste, the greatest of the sages think that it is the Kaivalya, that Parabrahman, that God himself, Lord Krishna, Parabrahman himself is called Kaivalya. Kaivalya samgitaha here, says in the Bhagavata. So don't be disturbed, confused by words. Kaivalya could mean God himself. Has anybody thought about this? Go ask your acharyas and figure things out. Why is Bhagavata calling Kaivalya as God? Paravaranam paramaste Kaivalya samgitaha kevala anubhava ananda Sandoho Nirupadikaha. Keval Ananda Sandoho. He is a complete concentration of jnana and ananda, complete and known as Nirupadika means it has got no adjuncts. There is no constraints, adjuncts on this universal Parabrahman. So from the spider, Avadhuta says that I understood, oh my God, spider also weaves its webs and eats its webs into itself. Yathornanabihi srijate granhate cha is the Upanishad verse. Urnanabhi means spider, which has got the saliva itself. Its web is its saliva, and it eats the web itself and creates the web out of its saliva. Like that, Brahman creates this universe and consumes the universe within himself. Coming to the last guru, the Wasp, out of love, hate, or fear, and embodied souls. If an embodied soul in any of this sharira, whatever sharira we have, right, whatever the person is, out of love or hate or fear, if he thinks about God, he will attain godliness. He will become similar to God, just like how a wasp and its prey communicate with each other. And how we let me explain this example properly. Once a wasp forced a weaker insect to enter its nest, enter its place, and kept the weaker insect trapped in that place. Because of the great fear, the weak insect constantly expected this wasp to be around. Being afraid of the wasp, it started meditating and focusing on the captor. And without giving up its body, it moved around and became almost like the wasp. This happens in reality, it seems. I've never watched this, but one has to check some videos on nature or something like that to say how a prey becomes like the attacker. So this just means that we should not probably think God as only an attacker. We should just think that he is so huge. Yasya cha brahma cha kshatram cha mrityurbhavata vodanam. That's what the Kathopanishad says. This Lord is consuming. Mrityu is this opinkai, what is it called? Pickle. Mrityu is the death is the pickle. And he just sprinkles a little bit of pickles on everybody. And the person could be a Brahmin or a Kshatriya or anybody else. And he eats them. That means God consumes. What does it mean? People are born and they die. But who is doing this? Behind everything, there is this Brahman. Nothing moves without the will of that Lord. Not even a leaf moves. Tena vina trinamapi na chalati. Without him, even a small blade of grass will not move. Everything is in his control. The electrons, protons, the energy, everything is inside him. Knowing this, if somebody meditates on Lord, there is no surprise that he becomes like God, just like how the insect became like the wasp, trapped in the wasp's home. We are also trapped in the universe which Lord has created. We can be afraid of him or we can love him. That all depends. Sometimes people become afraid. Lord Arjuna himself became afraid looking at Vishwarupa. So we've almost spent about an hour. I'm going to stop sharing now. Okay. Now we know that with these 24 gurus, Avadhuta said that you may not become Sthita Prajna in the next 5 minutes or next 15 minutes. You have to work at it. Some human beings are very powerful. Some people are extremely punyakrits. They have somehow attained purity in their previous births with a lot of good actions. So they may be able to focus and attain God faster, and they may be able to become Sthita Prajnas. So the reason why I have explained all these things is to give practical value. If there are any questions, please go ahead and ask now. You can type or you can talk to me, whatever works for you. Any questions? I guess no. Why don't we do one thing? We can stop the lecture here today. If you have any questions, you can email me on Bhagavad Gita lectures at googlegroups.com, or you can even put them, if it's a small question or any question, you can even contact me through Telegram on the Bhagavad Gita lecture group. Thank you very much. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayodana Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha.